Braves Nation, we've got a special guest today. He's my friend, Aurelio Chino Cadahia, sorry. Born November 22nd, 1957 in La Habana, Cuba. Drafted in 1977 twice. Cleveland in January and the Phillies first round in June secondary phase.
Yes,
He's
sir.
out of Miami-Dade College. Played minors from 1977 to 1988 with the Phillies and Twins. Longtime coach executive in the Ranger system, Braves, and now he's with the Royals. He's a special assistant for the Kansas City Royals. And he recently got the 2024 Mike Kuba Award. From Havana to the big leagues, catcher, coach, mentor. He's a quiet legend, Chino Cadahia, on player development and life in the game. We're happy to have you, Chino.
Coach, I'm happy to be here, and thank you very much for those kind words.
Well,
I didn't know I had to pay you to say those nice things about me, but
hey, checks in the mail.
The mail.
No, you know what I'll take? I'll take 2 Whoppers. Whopper Wednesday.
Wow. No, we'll go to Saxby's. You guys Saxby's over there. I don't over here.
Where's over there, Chino? Where do you live at?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah. Arizona, yeah.
Definitely no Zaxby's out there.
No.
We'll take care of you when you got to come out here and visit. First thing you got to do is go to Zaxby's.
Yeah, I understand that. I've been trying. I've had an open invitation for a lot of years now, and I haven't taken up on it yet.
Well, he used to come into Columbia and take us to all the coaches out to Zaxby's.
Yes. That's we started that in Lexington, actually.
We started in Lexington. That's right.
Yeah. It's a great place, and everybody seemed to enjoy it, and I
know why Chino. I know why you don't want to come out to Atlanta. You don't want to come to the house.
Well, if you still
it's
have
because
that
you don't want to lose in ping pong.
Well, last time I was in the house, somebody got mad at me.
He who shall not be named. He who shall not be named. But yes, I do want my revenge. I have to get my revenge. But no,
man, those were the days.
Yeah,
those were great.
I honestly thought you were better than I'd expected. I'll give you that. But jumping into everything, so obviously you were born in Cuba. So can you paint a picture for us? Like, what do you remember about Havana when you were little? Like, who put a ball in your hand first? What was it like growing up in Cuba? What did baseball mean in your house?
Well, it meant everything. I mean, of course, in Cuba, it's a national sport. And they're really good in a lot of sports, but baseball is their thing.
Yes,
so
sir.
I started off real young. I was telling this story the other day. In Cuba, that's why they were so good with education. You went to school from 8 to 12 and 1 to 5. And on Saturdays, you went to school from 8 to 12. So you actually only had a day and a half to play. So we would play Saturday afternoon and Sunday mornings. My grandfather built a league or made a league. And growing up, that's what we did. So all the kids from the neighborhood, we went to a park and we played. And I was fortunate enough to leave there in 1968. My father applied to the government to leave the country. And it took 3 years. So in 1968, in November, we hit Miami. We got to Miami, and that's kind of where we grew up.
So when did you? Obviously, from what I know of you, you're very talkative. You're not shy with your words. But as a kid, what kind of kid were you? Were you quiet? curious, or were you the same kind of person you are today?
Well, damn, Matthew, that was 68 years ago. I don't know. Uh, I'll tell you this. I was really good in school. I actually enjoyed school. And that was kind of the thing with my mom and dad was, I had to be good. And my grandfather and my grandmother, that I
Mm-hmm.
had to be good in school in order to play, baseball Saturday and Sunday afternoons. And I kept that all the way through when I went to junior college. I enjoyed the challenge of the school. I thought I was decent in math. I always enjoyed the numbers.
Yes, sir.
And, I started playing in the park leagues when I got here, not knowing the language too well. And, that was the thing that kind of got in the way for a few years until I learned the language a little better. And
Yes, sir.
but it was like I tell my daughter nowadays, you can't do that nowadays. I mean, I basically grew up in a park in Hialeah, and
Yes, sir.
the summers we were there from 9 to 12, 1 to 5. My parents would go pick up my brother and myself. We go home, we eat, and we go back to the park from 7 to 9:30, and shower and go to sleep and do it again the next day.
It's awesome.
Now, those are things that you probably can't do now, but it
Right.
was great. There was a lot of great leadership in that park, and everybody took care of everybody, So it was a great upbringing. I went to high school. I
Mm-hmm.
was the first, I was tied with the first of being a freshman in the high school varsity team. So I made the varsity as a ninth grader.
Wow.
And the coach's son was the first two guys. It was the coach's son, Billy, and myself we made that team as a freshman.
Wow.
I could hit a little bit, back then. I thought I could play shortstop, and I enjoyed playing third. I really didn't start catching until I got into pro ball. But
Really?
I enjoyed the
Wow.
challenge. I had a knack for hitting. Until I got to pro ball. When I got to pro ball, that knack went away. It wasn't as easy then.
So
So
did you
let me
get
ask you, who's the first coach that really saw you and maybe not necessarily instilled the confidence in you to think that you could play pro ball, but who's that first coach that really saw you and maybe said that you had the ability to make it?
Well, it's probably my dad.
Yes,
My
sir.
dad. He would throw batting practice and stuff to me. May God rest his soul. He passed away 3 years ago. But early on, it was like I don't know. It came.
Naturally.
The hitting part of it was kind of natural.
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
I kept it all throughout, actually, until I signed, and then I always blamed the slider for getting me out of the game, but I hit a lot of soft ground balls to shortstop. But
That's
I
funny. I always
always
thought you were a catcher. I
no,
always thought you were just a catcher.
no. I signed with the Phillies. I got drafted in January. Back then, we had three drafts, and your dad can tell you this because he was probably pre-phase, which was for guys that got drafted before, and then you had a January draft, and all that went away.
Right.
Now you just have the one draft, and that's it. But
Right.
I did not sign with Cleveland out of high school. I went to junior college, had a great experience. We went all the way to Grand Junction, Colorado for the Nationals. We finished third. That was an unbelievable experience for that,
Mm.
little Miami-Dade junior college team. And then I decided to sign. I had a letter of intent signed with the University of Miami. They were really good at the time. And I said, if I'm going to play college ball, might as well do it at home.
Yep.
And
Right.
but the Phillies talked me into signing, and I did. I signed, and it didn't go great. I got released the following spring training, and then Minnesota picked me up, and that's when I really started catching.
Right.
And I had guys like Bobby Ramos, who your dad may still remember. He was the backup for Gary Carter in
Yep.
Montreal.
He was
And
solid. He was like a brick house.
he was. They call him Popeye, and he's the one that basically taught me all the catching in the wintertime. And then in 1984, I think it was. My story is. I like to believe it's state of the art because I don't recall ever happening again. I got released. I got signed in I'm trying to think of the year, 1983. I get signed as a minor league free agent, which I didn't even know what the hell that meant. But Minnesota, they really wanted me, and I was hoping to stay there. They only had one manager in every level. Uh, and in 1984, April 2nd, I think it was, I got released in spring training, and really blew my mind because I thought they had plans for me. And luckily, a friend of mine with Houston, we were playing Houston, they were in Cocoa Beach at the time, I think. We were in Melbourne in spring training. And he had a few connections, and he happened to call Tom Grieve with Texas. Tom Grieve was a farm director. And I went to dinner. When I got back to the hotel, there was a message on the board to call Tom Grieve. So I called him the next morning, and I was all packed, ready to go to Miami. My wife didn't even know at the time. I didn't know how to tell her, actually.
Tell her. Yeah.
Right.
But, Tom Grieve said, well, if Plant City is not too far out of your way, we'd like to talk to you. So I ended up driving to Plant City, April 3rd, I think it was. And I met with him and Marty Scott, who was his assistant. And they said, we're looking for a pitching coach in Salem, Virginia. And I'm going, well, I'm a catcher, so I don't know how that works. But they said, well, we'll put you up for the night. We have a few other people we want to talk to. And that was like at 11:30 in the morning. And at 6:00 at night, I get a phone call in the hotel room. I'm sleeping. I'm laying down. And it's Tom Grief. And he says, the job is yours if you want it. I'm going, well, great. That's why I came here. So I became a pitching coach for the Texas Rangers High A Club in 84. And then he led to 85. And then in 86, Tom Grief eventually became the general manager of the team. Marty Scott became the farm director, and we were really great friends. And he wasn't just my boss, but, he always treated me great. And, I stayed with Texas all the way through 95 when they changed over. 95 is when I went to the Braves. Actually, it was 95. I got fired by Texas. And Jose Martinez, who your dad knows who he
Jose,
was.
love him.
And yeah, and he called. Who was it that he called? But anyway, I think it was Paul Snyder that he called. And this is, hearsay afterwards, the years afterward that I'm hearing all these stories. And Paul Snyder says, yeah, I called Sandy, and Sandy says, you're crazy not to hire that guy. So, I had managed from 88 with Texas all the way through 95. And the last actually from 86, I started managing with Texas. And 88, I went down to Port Charlotte to do the rookie ball and the extended, and I fell in love with it. And they could never get me out of there. So I spent all those years, but the office changed in 95. They brought I can't think of his name, but anyway, there was new leadership. They fired everybody, and I was lucky enough that had been Jose's coach played and coached for Jose in Colombia in the wintertime for 3 years. And, like I said, Paul Snyder ended up calling my boss, Sandy Johnson, in Texas. And Sandy basically told him, you're crazy not to hire that guy. So, but I had done a lot of mostly managing. And the job I took with Texas was as a minor league catching coordinator. And I fell in love with it. I didn't know. I was hesitant because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And it turned out to be probably the best job I ever had was, having the ability to go home. And, years later, I had this discussion with your dad when we both came to Kansas City that it was the ability to go home every so often, every 3-4 weeks was a great thing. And, you still made a difference with the kids. So, so I was lucky enough to do that. And then a couple of years later, they wanted me to be the minor league coordinator, which that's a story itself.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't want the headache. That's when Bobby Deuce went to the big leagues. Doozy was the coordinator when I went to Atlanta in '95.
That's right.
That's how I met. I knew about your dad, Matthew, but I met your dad in '96 in Macon, Georgia. That was one of our stops, and
I spent a lot of time down there.
Yes, you did. Yeah, your dad was
You
crazy.
didn't beat me in ping pong down there at that age, but it was a couple years later.
Kind of hard to beat you in ping pong. We didn't even have a ping pong table. But
no, there was nothing. There was nothing in Macon.
I thought your dad was crazy because he was driving back and forth from home to Macon every single day, and
yep.
I had done that in instructional league one year in West Palm, and it was only 6 weeks. And I'll tell you what, the last 2 weeks I was on fumes driving.
That's
it was
right.
62 miles that I was driving, but it was just the driving gets to you.
Yeah. Well, Chino, tell us about you coached some really good players with the Rangers in the minor leagues.
Yes, sir, I did.
You had Pudge. As a matter of fact, you're credited with giving him that name, I believe.
I did. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember how that came about. Most people think I used to nickname all the players. I was just my way of, I was, hey, knucklehead, hey, numbnuts, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
And most people think that when I named Pudge is because he was pudgy. He wasn't. He was a very solid, he was 5'7" at the time. He was 16 years old. And the story went like this. I get a call at the end of July. I think it was 88 or 89. And Marty Scott calls me. He says, hey, you're about to get a catcher. You cannot play him. He's 16 years old. We just signed him. He's going to play in instructional league. So just let him be part of the team, incorporate him into the batting practice and sides and all this stuff, learning the plays. And then he's going to catch a lot in the instructional league. So that year we had drafted Darren Oliver, who was unbelievable. We had another kid by the name of Eric McRae. They all threw hard. They had a lot of movement. And I had 3 college guys, 2 4-year college guys, and a junior college catcher. And none of them could catch those guys. Because they had really good stuff. So one day, this is the middle of August, we played a night game in Sarasota. And the next day we came out late, like at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. It was a 1 o'clock game, if I remember right. And my pitching coach came to me and he said, hey, Chino, he said, all right, if I do the side before the game. And I said, absolutely. So I said, okay, it's Darren Oliver. Who do you want me to take? I said, you take Pudge with you. And he tells me, he goes, are you nuts? Oliver is going to kill that kid, So I said, well, if Pudge Rodriguez is ever going to be a major league catcher, he's going to have to catch guys like Darren Oliver.
That's
He
right.
goes, yeah, but he's 16 years old. So anyway, he starts the bullpen, and we go out to the park, we go out to the field, put the lineup up, and all that stuff. We're getting ready. I mean, this, and my pitching coach starts running towards me, and I'm going, "Oh no, what happened?" And he says, "You got to put this kid in the lineup." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "He caught Darren Oliver like it was nothing." And I said, "Well, let me tell you a little story, my friend. If I happen to put Butch Rodriguez in the lineup, not only am I fired, Victor's fired, and you are fired
Yeah.
because we cannot play him."
Yeah.
Back then, if you played even a day, you lost a year of eligibility or something like that. If I knew the rule right at the time,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
he didn't start playing until that fall, and to work with him at that stage at 16 years old, and then watching him play, you go, well, that's kind of what I was expecting from him. He
Right.
was well, probably
Stud.
the best I've ever
They
had.
they stand out. They stand
Yeah, I
out,
mean,
Chino.
Yep.
he was so quick, had a great arm, could flat out hit. I mean, he had a lot going for him. And
Well, he was around a pretty good hitting coach.
well, I remember the story when he finally got to the big leagues that he went from Double A to the big leagues.
Wow. Big of a
And
jump.
then
Wow.
the next year, I mean, Texas, I mean, we had Jose Canseco, Rafael Palmeiro, Julio Franco, Juan Gonzalez. We had Sammy Sosa for a little bit until we traded him. We had Pudge, we had Dean Parman, we had a hell of a lineup. And I remember Julio, and years later, we had Julio in Atlanta, but
That's right.
Julio was kind of the go-to guy. And I remember him telling Pudge, "Hey, you don't need to hit. You just need to catch and throw runners out and do this and do that." And the rest is history. He had an unbelievable career, and proud
Yeah.
of him. Got really lucky to, I mean, the best thing I did was probably not mess him up too bad. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been a Hall of Famer. But he was special. Even at 16 years old, he could do things that I had never seen a catcher do.
Yeah.
And, it just came so easy to him.
Yeah. Did you coach Juan Gonzalez too? Were you
I
around him?
managed Juan Gonzalez. I had actually in 1987, I had Juan Gonzalez, Sammy Sosa, Dean Palmer, Ray Sanchez, Billy Hasselman, Wilson
Oh,
Alvarez, Roger Pavlik. I had
Wow.
11 kids from that Gastonia team go play in the big leagues.
Wow.
And,
Stacked.
it's funny because they were all kids. We were still on the 500 for the year, but I mean, and this is what I was told before I left. He said, at the end of the year, Juan Gonzalez, Sammy Sosa, and Dean Palmer better have 450 plate appearances.
right.
And I said, okay. So it did matter. I mean, I hit them 3, 4, and 5. I made sure they all got over 500. I didn't want to mess around with my job.
Yeah.
So they all
Yeah.
got 500,
You went
And
above and beyond.
that's really, it's kind of funny because that's when I started understanding player development.
Right.
Sandy Johnson, who's, I mean, not only an unbelievable man, but he took the time to teach me a lot of stuff. And I'm forever grateful. And he's the one that really started teaching me player development. He goes, Chino, this is how this works. They get 450 at bats in low A, then they go to high A and do the same. And then by the time they get to double A, they'll have 1,200 at bats under the belts. And then we'll know if they're
Right.
good or not. If you can hit in double A, back then anyway, if you could hit in double A, you're probably going to make it, and they
Yeah.
all did, Juan Gonzalez is probably the most talented guy I ever managed.
He was unbelievable.
I never saw Ken Griffey Jr. At that age. I never saw Alex Rodriguez at that age. But Juan Gonzalez could do what he wanted whenever he wanted. That's
Yeah.
how good he was. I mean, he was, and not only that, he was a good outfielder. He was a good base runner. he was, you know,
Yeah.
if he hadn't gotten hurt with his back and, all the rumors and all that stuff that happened,
Yeah.
he would have been for sure a Hall of Famer. I
But
mean,
Chino, here's a guy. Here's a guy at the All-Star break in the big leagues. He'd have
yeah,
100 RBIs already.
yeah, he did.
100 at the break.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
he took a lot of pride in the RBIs, hubby.
Yeah,
He
didn't he
did.
win have MVP? Didn't he have like 150 plus RBIs that year that he won?
He might have won 2 MVPs.
Yeah,
I don't know if he did 2. I know he won 1 for sure.
that's crazy.
Well,
But
That's crazy.
I mean,
That's crazy compared to the stats nowadays.
mean-
People for an entire year get excited about 120 RBIs in a season. He had
Yeah.
100 RBIs at the break.
yeah.
One,
You don't
two,
see that
three,
very
four,
often. No.
5.
well, he was special. He was special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had 6 seasons anyway that he hit over 120. He had over 120 ribbies.
Yes.
That's insane.
Well, you know the coach that I learned the most from, Bill Fisher. He used to call me a 50-50 coach. You remember
Well,
that?
don't feel bad. He called a lot of us 50-50 coaches.
50-50. You don't help anybody and you
And
don't
you don't
hurt
hurt
anybody.
Yeah. The living
Well,
legend.
Well, he was a living legend. He was a
Is
good
that
man.
the same Bill Fisher that I'm thinking of?
Yeah,
in
that's the
Richmond?
same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
The
God they only
the
made one of
sandwich
him.
man.
Yeah. They only made one of him. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, up until the last day, he could recall pitchers and what they threw and just he was great. But so we go to Atlanta. You go to Atlanta after the Rangers. How was the organization when you came there?
Well, it's kind of funny you mentioned Bill Fisher. So I got to go to instructional league in '95 for about 10 days. Rod Gilbreth, one of the
Yeah.
nicest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Yep.
He said, hey, I was living in Port Charlotte. So he said, if you're not too busy, would you consider coming to instructional league to see the kids and stuff? And, I had known Doozy. Doozy had managed Savannah. I had known, Rick Albert. I known Rungo. I known Randy Ingo. I knew quite a few of the guys. So it
Yeah.
wasn't totally brand new. So those 10 days I spent, mainly with the catchers and stuff. And then spring training came around. And, we always had somewhat of a prospect camp or so. I mean, I don't know what the name of it was, but, some pitchers got started early and some players
Right.
we brought down early and blah, 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 So
Right.
I remember we started to play games, squad games. And the second time around or the third time around for the pitchers, Bill Slack, remember Slacky?
Yep.
Bill
Another
Slack,
great guy.
another Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he said to me, hey, Chino, can I ask you for a favor? And I said, of course. What is it, Slacky? He says, can you start, mixing in? Can you tell the catchers to start mixing in the breaking balls, a little more, this and that? It's their third time around. They're up to, 45, 50 pitches. They should start spinning the ball. I said, no problem, Slacky. So my early work that day, I talked to the catchers. And sure enough, here comes the game at 1:00. And they're not abusing it, but they're starting to throw a few more breaking balls. Oh my God, hubby! I thought Bill Fisher got in my face. What in the hell? You know who came to my rescue? Steve Bedrosian.
The Rock. Yeah.
Wow.
Bear Rock came to me and to my rescue, and he said, Fish, you got to throw a wrinkle every so often. He said, I throw 98 miles an hour, and they time me. So eventually, if it's just one fastball after another, bullshit, the Fish went on and on. So, I didn't hold back. I went at him too because Then Hubby was my second week in the organization. And I said, if I take this from him now, I'll never
Right.
hear
Yep.
the end of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The bad thing about it was that there was coaches involved there. There were coaches in the clubhouse, you know.
Right.
I mean, Fish never really, one bad thing about Fish, he never had the, you know, kind of the the timing to get on your ass. You know, he just did it whenever he came out, you know.
That's right. No filter.
So, yeah. So I said, well, so that night I'm panicking. And I went over to Jose's because Jose, of course, had put Bill Fisher through. He said, that's the guy that taught me pitching. There's nobody better. You can learn a lot from him, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he was like a god, right?
Right.
So I told Jose what happened. And, you know, needless to say, you know, I didn't sleep very well that night. And I still remember to this day. The next morning is 5:40 in the morning, and I walk in the clubhouse in West Palm Beach. And Eddie Watt is on the corner smoking a cigarette. And the other guy in the clubhouse is Bill Fisher.
Yep.
And I'm going, well, this ain't good. And he comes to me and he starts poking me in the chest. He goes, you and we're going to get along great. Because nobody in this damn room will ever dare talk to me that way. You did yesterday. I respect the hell out of you.
Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
from that day on, Hubby, I mean, it was 3-4 nights a week that we go to Pollo Tropical. We go
Oh,
Western
yeah.
Sizzler. We went to eat
Oh,
constantly with them. And that's how I learned mainly all the pitching, the little pitching that I know, it was from Bill Fisher.
Well, he was a good
You know,
man.
but, you know, and he, you know, I mean, he was sad when he went to Tampa Bay. I understood why he went to Tampa Bay, but, you know, I always told this story. I said, when I get in trouble as a coordinator, there's only 3 people I go to, and that's Jose Martinez, Gene Beecham, and Bill Fisher.
That's right.
Outside of that, I don't go to anybody else.
That's right.
One of those 3 will have the answer.
That's right. All 3 of those guys.
You know, and I live by that sword, and you know, I'm gonna, you know, when I die, I'm gonna die by that sword. But it was great. I mean, it was the talent we got over there. It was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I understood. Once I went to Major League Camp in 90, it was the last year in West Palm, 98, I think it was. Then I figure out why you guys were so good, because of the work. He did it quick, but he got done, and it
That's
was
right.
over. You know, it wasn't a layout 6-hour workout or not. Bobby was
he was never big on eyewash.
No,
Get it done.
no.
Get a fundamental done.
Yeah,
Get over. And then you know what? Hit it again in a week or 2.
yeah.
But you didn't have to do a 2 hours session.
No, yeah. So he was great. I remember, you know, once I was there a few years. You remember how it was in Disney? I mean, we used to get 5,000-6,000 people for practices.
That's right. That's right.
And I didn't know this until Bobby told me later on. Those people were paying $10 a head to get in to see the practices.
Just to see practice.
That's crazy.
Practice. And Bobby would come to me and he says, you know, I you know, are we going to have to stay out here a little longer? Because, I mean, I feel bad. I mean, we're here for 2 hours, and I don't know if that's enough. And I said,
for that $10 fee?
For that $10 fee. I mean, the stands used to be full. You remember?
Yeah.
I never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. But
yeah, I mean,
but those were the years. I mean, they were great years. I mean, being in Disney was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everything about that place, all the different fields. You had all the people that came there. You had pretty good golf courses to play golf.
Yeah, we did.
So as a field coordinator, what'd you try to do to set the standard? We had some pretty good coaches back then in the minor leagues. And
Yeah, but
they were good
Hubby,
workers.
the problem is not the players. I mean, you can lead the players to do whatever. The problem was the coaches, and I've always said this because this is the way it was put to me when I turned that job down for like 3 days. I did not want to do that job.
Wow.
I thought I had I don't want to say the easiest, but
Oh,
I
the
had the best
catcher
job in the
coordinator.
kitchen. Yes, because I had unbelievable kids defensively. I
That's
mean,
right.
they could. Yeah, I mean, you were there. You saw them all.
Yeah.
I can name them all. Pascual Matos, Mike Mahoney, Torreaba, Looney. Uh, Bosky came later. I mean, it was one
Right.
after the other. I
Yeah.
mean, they were talented. And
Yeah.
I used to kid with our friend Leon Roberts. I said, Leon, if you can get these guys to hit, we're gonna have a superstar in our hand because these
Yeah.
guys can all flat out hit it, catch and throw.
Well.
And I was somewhat hesitant to do everything. And the negotiations didn't go great with trying to think of his name. He's the one that came after Rod. And we were good friends.
Lamar?
No. Lamar was before Rod. I didn't work for Lamar.
Okay. After
Rod, it was Sherholzer put that young kid in the office. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So the negotiations didn't go great, and I was happy doing what I was doing, and I didn't know, and Jose kept pushing. I'll help you. We can do this. You're bilingual. You can do this. You're the right guy for the job. Blah blah blah. And yes, you're right, because I had Brian Snicker, Randy Engel, Paul Runge. We had a bunch of great staff, Rick Upper. I mean, all those guys really followed the program. But you still had some people that, didn't quite went to that extreme, And when you're coordinating and you got to be at 10 places at once, and you got to make sure you see the sides and you see the BP and you see the fundamentals and you see that.
Yeah.
It's tough, it got easier, especially in a place where I had not seen anybody coordinate. Nobody had ever coordinated in Disney.
Right.
So it was like the facilities were brand new, and I was just skeptical and hesitant to really jump on it as easy as it sound, But nonetheless, I did. And I cannot tell you how big a help Jose Martinez was.
Oh, yeah.
And Fish and Beecham and all those guys, I mean, they were, and it became easy. It became, because then, after a couple of years, the lay of the land, what happens, what your options are when it rains, so it's a piece of cake. But, in the beginning, it was like, there was a lot of sleepless night,
Oh, yeah.
That, and I follow that damn Weather Channel every single night.
That's right. That rain is terrible. It's especially spring training time, because you want to get your fundamentals in, and that's the beauty of Arizona.
Absolutely.
Very little rain, and you don't have that headache right there.
Yeah. But remember, hubby, when we used to go play the Yankees in Tampa, we played the Phillies, or we played Toronto, or we didn't really do any work at home. We got on the bus at 8:00 in the morning, and we went to those places and we hit.
That's
Here
right.
in Arizona, we still hit, because our furthest trip is Mesa. It's an hour and 10 minutes.
That's right.
So, we still hit at 9:30 or whatever, and we still can get out there by 11:30, no problem. 11, 12 o'clock or whatever it is. So you do a lot more work here. Of course, it doesn't rain as much here. And, it's just, to me, it's a little better here in Arizona.
I loved Arizona a lot more because you could get more work done. I thought.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because you didn't have to. In Florida, it rains all the time.
Yeah.
I
Hubby,
mean,
there was some spring trainings that it rained 7, 8, 9 times.
that's right.
And it didn't ruin all your day, but I mean, you had to cut off your day in order to get some innings in, because pitching is the name of the game in spring training. You got to get the pitchers ready to go, and I cannot tell you how many times we waited for you guys in the major league side to leave or to be done with those cages, and we ran both cages, the
Right.
minor leagues and the big league cages.
That's right.
And that's dangerous. I never really, to this day, I really don't enjoy hitting live off of pitchers in the cages, in indoor cages.
Oh yeah, that was
always,
terrible.
that always, I always got panicked, but I know I had to do it because it was the only option left. So,
Well, not necessarily for the hitters, but for the pitching. You got to get your
absolutely.
pitchers in
Yeah, absolutely.
because they're
Yeah,
getting ready for the season and they have to get their arms ready.
Yeah.
Hitting comes along. You get enough soft toss and whatever.
Absolutely.
know,
the hitters are never a problem. The hitters will get ready in
That's right.
2 weeks. They're ready. The pitching, how the progression of the pitching and stuff is a hard thing.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So now you get brought up to the big league club as a bench coach.
Yes, sir.
What surprised you most about that position? Something that the fans really
don't see.
Yeah, they don't see that the bench coach does.
The preparation, hubby, is the thing is different. The mindset is different. You have to win every night. So the preparation was different. The responsibilities of how many times did I ask you to check the lineup card? I mean, every single day I had you, I had Eddie, I had everybody, because I did not sleep at night sometimes that I was going to leave somebody off or I had it wrong or whatever. I mean,
because once you hand it to the umpire.
Yes. Yeah. And I will give it to Bobby and Bobby will say, God damn, that looks great. And then go, let me go to hubby, let me go to Eddie, and let me go, let TP and make sure they all see it the same way as I do,
Right.
But as the mindset changes, because the big leagues is all about winning. And, you have to win, especially with the tradition that we had in Atlanta. I mean, you guys have 14 in a row, which is unheard of, 14, I mean, that's unheard of. And to keep that up, I mean, I knew all the players. That wasn't the part of it. I had to, sometimes go out of my way and talk to Junel Escobar, your buddy, about some things, but, it was, the challenge was great. And I can honestly say this, without your help and without TP's help, Terry Pennington, it would have been a hell of a lot harder for me.
Yeah.
Because you guys really kept me in line. I know that, I got a little flustered sometimes, and I could always count on you or TP to, grab me by the hand and say, hey, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. So I'm grateful that I had you two guys,
well, thank you, Chino.
The staff was great, but you guys made my job a lot easier.
Well, we both, you mentioned Junel Escobar. What incredible talent, number one.
Mm-hmm.
When the game was on the line, I wanted him up at the plate.
Yes.
He was fearless on the bases.
Yes.
I mean, as a first base coach, the pitcher's got the ball on the mound. We're 1 run down, and he's taking off to second base, and he makes it. And I'm panicking at first because when somebody gets thrown out like that, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But instinctively, he had great instincts, and he wasn't afraid to make a mistake. He was fearless.
No, he wasn't. Hubby, we remember how he used to throw the ball from the outfield after a base hit to left field. He would get the ball in the grass and throw back to first base.
Yep.
And he ended up throwing a couple guys out. So one day he did that, and I went to him in the bench because I know Bobby wasn't too happy about it. So I took it upon myself, and I said, "Hey, Esky, do you really have to do that?" He goes, "Chino, it's part of the game. If I can get an out, if I can catch somebody sleeping, why not?" I said, "Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you ever throw a ball away doing that, don't sit down in the bench. Go in the go in the clubhouse, pack your stuff, and start driving to Gwinnett." I said,
Wow.
"Because it's a matter of fact. You're not going to be here." He goes, "I got it, but I'm not going to stop doing it." And sure enough, he didn't stop doing it. He just
Well,
kept doing
you
it.
know
That's
that
how much.
those
That's how
runners
much
take
faith.
that big turn. They drop their
Yeah,
head and go back to the base,
yeah, yeah,
and bam,
yeah. He
first
caught a
baseman
few
gets it,
guys.
tags him. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he got some guys.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but you
But
had
you're
to
right.
alert the first baseman too. Hey, be
Yeah,
alive.
yeah,
He
yeah.
might.
He told me. He told me when we traded for Teixeira. He said, "You tell Tex to be on the lookout because." And I went to Tex and I told him. I said, "Hey, Tex, look, the play is not over. It's a base hit. This guy might throw behind the runner." I said,
That's
"I'm
right.
telling you, you know." But you said two words. He was talented and he wasn't afraid.
No,
That's
that's right.
the two words that best describe him. And you know, he ended up having, I think, over 10 years in the big leagues. And
Oh yeah,
Yep.
he
if
was.
I'm not mistaken, he's a lifetime 280 hitter or something in the big leagues. You
He
know,
was. I loved everything about him. The way he went about the game.
I know you did. I know you did.
You know, I
Yeah.
really did. So now we both get let go, and we both end up in KC.
Yes, sir.
And now I got to thank you for helping me when I went over there. The first thing you told me says, "Hubby, you're the roving infield guy now. Write everything down." And I started taking a journal when I worked out with the guy on the field, early work. I'd write down what I did with him. And at the All-Star break every year, I would go give it to, I believe it was Scott Sharp back then.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, "This is what I did with every player that I worked with the first half." "Oh, you didn't have to do that." "Yeah, I did. I still got copies of it in my desk over here." And
I bet you do.
that was the best advice I ever got, because when they would come up to me and say, "Hey, what about this guy? You haven't been working with him?" "Yeah, I have. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. I got it." And so I covered myself.
Hubby,
And
I learned that, and thank you very much for that. But that was a Jose thing. When I did the when I started in Atlanta with the catching coordinator, I made a paper, okay? And Linda Smith, I don't know if you remember Linda Smith.
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
well, Linda, all the ladies in the office. I mean, you know, they were sweethearts. They were awesome.
Well,
But
without them,
Linda did this for me. So in this paper, I had, instead of writing it down, I put it down on paper. And every city I went to,
right.
if the first day we blocked, I did the check. Right, we blocked. The next day we threw. I did the throwing. We did a fundamental. We did a fundamental. We took infield. We did this, and I would just check the boxes. And I mean, I carried hundreds of papers with me because a lot of times, like in the summertime, I would spend a lot of time in the on the road, and that's how I did it. And that was a Jose thing, and is your proof of the stuff that you were doing with each and every one of the players. You
That's
know,
right.
so
I tell you
yeah, and
what,
nobody could tell you otherwise.
I became a better coach when I went, after all those years in the minor leagues with the Braves. When I went to KC, I became a better coach, because up until that point, you go to Macon, you got 5 infielders, maybe 6 infielders. When I went and I was the roving guy, I had 60.
Yeah.
And I had to work with every one of them different. Over there, they had us do IDPs, individual development program.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had to look at every player and say, "Okay, man, he's got slow feet. What kind of drill can I do to help him get better? This guy needs some picks at first. He's not very good." And I had to do individual development program on every infielder. And it made me better because it made me think about, well, how can I get him better? And really, as a coach, that's what we do, is to try to get the kids better so they can go to the next level, then go to the next level, and maybe step on that field one day in the big leagues, you know?
Yeah.
So,
But
I
hubby, let me
appreciate.
tell you, I just finished my 48th year in professional baseball. Okay, and I'm not patting myself
Congratulations.
on the back. That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years.
And my time is closely coming to an end. But nonetheless, the passion you had for those players was second to none, my friend. You believed in every one of those kids, and I cannot thank you enough, because guys like you, guys like Mark Davis, there was, I mean, you had an unbelievable career in the big leagues. You coached in the big leagues for a long time, so technically, financially, you didn't have to do what you did, and the care you always did to those kids
Well,
always was inspiring to me. And that's just the type of guy that you are, and you always been. You're a little rough around the edges
a
sometimes,
little bit
but
rough,
but
but
but when I mean, I remember us in Lexington. You working with Gasparini and then hitting Gasparini, and it was 1:30 in the afternoon. You, Jesus, and myself, we were out there, and
yep.
you had just taken Gasparini to have lunch. So, and we were just, and that passion you had for those guys to get better is second to none. All those kids.
Well, especially at that level, it's all about getting those kids better. And
Yeah.
that's the what I don't miss now, because my last couple of years in Columbia, you weren't allowed to really do early work. It's too
Yeah.
hot, they said. What do you mean it's
Yeah.
too hot? How are they going to get better? If they don't
Yeah.
work, they're not going to get better.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
well,
it's hotter now than when you played or when you coached in Macon, right? It's global warming. It's a lot hotter now, so you cannot
hey,
work
Yeah.
there.
being
Y'all's
in
jersey didn't breathe
being
as
in
good.
Columbus, Georgia, on that river, as hot as it
Yeah.
was, and the humidity, no,
Yeah.
you have
Hubby, you
hard
grew up
work.
in the
Work.
South, hubby. Richmond, Savannah,
Oh
North
yeah.
Carolina, all those places were horrible in July and August, and we
Yep.
Yep.
still went out and we still did work, and it was okay. You're somewhat considerate. You don't go out there for an hour and a half, but
That's
you
right.
still get your job done. It's common
That's right.
sense. So
Well,
but
that's a Bobby Cox thing. Let's put in the work, put in good work,
yeah,
and get out.
get out.
We might do it again in a week,
Yeah,
but that's it.
yeah.
And
So I have a question, Chino, because obviously you've taken player development across multiple teams. So the term player development is somewhat of a buzzword now. But for you personally, in all the years that you've done this, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's a complex answer. Number one, and I was thinking about this because I was on pins and needles today about this call with your dad. But anyway, so the only thing, in my opinion, that a player can ask for is an opportunity.
Yeah.
This is a game of opportunities. Okay, now when I say we, your dad and I, we understand the politics behind this game, right? We understand the draft. We understand the guys that get millions of dollars to sign. We understand all that.
Right.
But as a just a regular John Doe, if you get an opportunity, and it may only be one,
that's right.
what you do with it, what you do with it depends on you.
Yeah.
At no time in this game, in my opinion, has it been easier to be a minor league player, right? And this is something that Jose Martinez always instilled in my head. I'm trying to make this better than when I first came in. That's your job. When you leave this game, it has to be better than when you first got into it. And you
Right.
have to understand, you have to teach that to your players, right?
Yes, sir.
And look at how far we have come. If in today's game, okay, first of all, everybody was mad about the construction, right? We dropped 100 players. Everybody, 80 to 100 players we dropped. We used to have 7 teams, now we have 5. But the players are getting paid more money.
Exponentially
So
more.
that's a great thing.
Yes.
They travel in 2 buses, 2 state-of-the-art buses. It's not 1 bus anymore. I asked your dad about some of the buses he drove. He rode in.
Oh, I've heard
we've heard some
stories.
stories.
I rode on some of them.
Yeah, okay, so good. They don't have to worry about an apartment. The organization gets their apartment. They may have a couple complexes. It's turnkey. You go to the apartment, you get your key, that's your place to live on. They don't have to worry about electricity, cable, any of that stuff like your dad and I used to do back in the day.
Right.
They get 2 meals a day at the ballpark. They get a meal right after the practice, and they get a meal after the game.
Mhm.
Most of the time, there's a lot of food left over that if you come to the ballpark early, which a lot of times we don't allow, there's food left over for you to have, some left over from the night before.
Yes, sir.
And let me tell you, some of the food these guys are eating are state of the art. It's very good. Now,
Pretty good.
we have nutritionists, we have behavioral science, we have all kinds of analytics people. We have, this organization has grown in the last 10 years like there's no tomorrow. So as a baseball player, all you have to worry about is, okay,
Your job.
just go out and play baseball. How am I going to get on my practice? What is it that I need to do? When I listen to the coach, this is what I want to get done, and then go play.
Yeah.
Right.
And luckily, if you have the opportunity, then you can showcase your talent. Because a lot of times, that's a thing that will never be fixed in this game. The guys that get money are going to get more opportunities. There's no doubt about it. There's a reason why they got the money. So the scouts believe in them, player development believes in them. Even if a lot of times they don't pan out, they're still going to get the opportunities until the time comes where they don't. But as a player, all you can ask for is an opportunity. And if you get that, it bothers me with the Latin kids. And every year I address them in spring training. And they're probably, the guys that have been here 5-6 years, probably sick of me because I say the same thing. I talk about opportunities. I talk about learning English so they can communicate with their teammates. I talk about being a good teammate, all the things that even if you don't make it as a baseball player, you will become a good human being. And that's what this game is all about.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
So, but I mean, some kids you got to tell more than once.
Yep.
Sometimes.
It happens. But I don't know if you guys saw the news today. I think we signed Michael Garcia to a 5-year deal. You have no idea how that makes me feel. Because Michael Garcia, I got on the phone with him because he didn't want to do the weights when he was in Burlington, North Carolina. So they asked me to call him. So I called him and I said, well, here's the options. You only have 2 options. You either get with it and do the weights, or we're going to send you a one-way ticket, nonstop to Venezuela. So you decide what you want to do. But again, the kid was 18 years old. He didn't know any better. Years went by. He was always a great defensive player, but he was really skinny, not strong. He hit the weight room. He learned English. He did the interview with baseball with the Major League Network today in English. No problem. I mean, that's the thing that makes me get up in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
But he got married. He's got a young young girl, that baby. So the
Mhm.
things changes in your mind.
Yes,
Did I
sir.
have problems with Juan Gonzalez? You bet your ass I did.
Yep.
But you know what? I got him back 1 year in rehab when I was doing rookie ball, and he told all those players, he goes, "You guys better listen to that man right there, because without that man, I would have never made it to the big leagues." And
Mm.
that's, if you're consistent with everybody and you give everybody, and then there's some times where you have to be hard. You know,
Yeah.
it's not an easy job. You just gotta, you gotta have a little common sense on when to be hard, when not to be hard.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, there's no better feeling when they grow up and they're 22, 23 years old and they're in the big leagues
That's
and they
right.
stay there for 10 years.
That's
Salvador
right.
Perez, I met him in 2011. He's the team captain. I mean, he's unbelievable. And Salvi, he wasn't the greatest of hitters when I first saw him, but he could always catch. But the passion he brought to the game was second to
Right.
none, and he has never lost that. As,
That's
as
right.
we're speaking right now, he's playing winter ball to get ready for the WBC.
Mm.
I'll be there. I'll be watching them. I'm going.
Okay,
I'm going to the World Baseball Classic next year.
good.
Yeah.
But he's playing winter ball, and here's, he's I think he's 34 years old now. He's got 12, 13, 14 years in the big leagues, and that's
Yep.
the passion he has
Yep.
to get ready and not look like a fool when the WBC comes. And I guess they're going to have a hell of a team too. So it's going to be interesting this year's WBC.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But Chino, I also want to get some thoughts on something because the way you speak about your players and how you develop them and the connection you have with them and the just the proudness that you feel when they make it to the bigs and you see them up there knowing that you had a part of that journey. I think that had a big part to with you winning the Mike Coolball Award in 2024. So how'd that feel? That's a pretty prestigious award to receive. How did you feel when you got that?
Well, again, I don't know how much the organization had to pay for me to get that award. So it's kind of funny because I did not know Mike, but I had Scott, his brother, in Texas. Scott Kubal was a very good-looking third baseman, good major league player, and I had him in the minor leagues. And I ran into Mike Kubal. It was we were in Greenville, and we were playing them. I forgot what organization he was playing with. But it was a very unfortunate accident that he got hit by a line drive coaching first base. And of course, that's the reason that we now wear helmets coaching the bases now.
Mm-hmm.
And the list is who's who of people that have won that award. It came as a big time surprise. I never expected it. I mean, hubby knows me better than most. I'm myself every day. And whatever, I get up in the mornings with a passion. And this is what has been instilled in me by my dad, by Jose, all the mentors I had, because I feel very lucky of the mentors that I've had. People that
Mm.
took time to teach me not only the game of baseball, but teach me about life. And I'm very grateful for that. And that's all I try to do. And sometimes it might be a baseball thing. Sometimes it might be a life thing. I always try to go out of my way, with, are you eating right? What did you eat last night? Are you eating okay? How's your English
Mm.
classes? Especially with the Latin kids. And the same with American kids, because I treat them all the same. But that's just kind of the way I look at it. And if you cannot get up in the morning to try to make a difference on somebody's life, especially a young kid, then you probably should be not in the game.
That's
And
right.
that's how I look at it. That's the passion I have. That's why I get frustrated a lot of times now. And the older I've gotten, the more frustrating I get. But it's an honor, to say the least. It was an honor to win that award. I have no words because I know what it means. And, to be one the one guy in minor league baseball. That's saying a lot, and I'm glad
Yes.
people notice what I do. And like I said, it probably costs us a pretty penny for me to get that award, but I mean, you know.
Okay. Well, hey, how's Lauren?
She's good. She's good. We're going to Vegas for New Year's. I'm
Nice.
going to Miami. Well, my wife and I started that about 20 some years ago.
Right.
Just started to go, she had loved fireworks and this, and then we started taking Lauren, and Lauren, when my wife passed away, Lauren said, Dad, can we still do this? And I said, sure. And so every year we try to make it, and every year we've been fortunate enough to do it and enjoy the fireworks and enjoy, all the people, different people and stuff. We eat good. That's the one thing we always do. We eat different
Vegas
places,
has.
and we never get cheated on the meals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas has great food. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, now that we're talking about food, some big league cities that you like. I've got two cities in mind: Philly and Milwaukee. You remember Milwaukee? What you used to buy before we went to the ballpark?
Empanadas.
That's the first place I ever had an empanada in Milwaukee. Of all places.
Yeah.
Of all places.
Yeah. Wow.
It was right by the what was the hotel we stayed at? The Pfister.
Pfister. Yeah. By the way, I never saw a ghost there, so I don't know why they say there's.
Yeah, there's supposed to be ghosts in the.
Yeah, I never saw one.
Do you remember what Roger McDowell? So he takes. He's got the walkie-talkies.
Yep.
He gets the key to Eddie Perez's room. He puts it underneath in his chair, underneath the cushion, and at 2 a.m. he clicks it on and goes, Eddie.
That was,
and
Eddie,
he went running,
Yeah, that was Roger.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know what, hubby? I'll tell you the story of the whole thing. So the guy that owned that restaurant owned an Italian restaurant. He's Italian. His wife was Cuban. So I think it was our second year. I don't know if you remember, because the first year they told me about it. So I went outside and, went down the block and then up the block. You could go behind the front desk and get to that place. And the guy in the front desk told me. So it's like, Bobby, what time we leaving tomorrow? And Bobby will always say 11. And I told him that one day, I said, hey, Skipper, can we leave at 11:15? And he said, what for? And I said, well, it'll be a surprise. So I went and got those empanadas, and he says, we'll leave at 11:15 from now on. So they were that good. They were really good. They were really good empanadas.
And at
So
all
what's your
places in
favorite?
the
What's your favorite filling in an empanada? Now I'm genuinely curious.
Meat. I don't like, Matthew. I don't like raisins in my empanada. A lot of people will put raisins on it, but I just like the meat. The ground beef.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Maybe a little cheese. But when it's marinated right, when it's done right, with the onions and garlic and all that stuff,
Yes,
when
sir.
it's made right, then it's state of the art.
Oh yeah.
I don't have them here in Arizona too much. I wait until I go to Miami, and then I load up on them. Miami is unbelievable for that kind of stuff.
Well, because it's more of the culture.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was the place in Kissimmee you took me that one time for lunch?
All de Cuba. Did you tell Matthew that story with the Cuban coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, they told me about it the other day
coffee,
too. Yeah.
Chino says,
that was the story. You couldn't finish the coffee because you were jacked up, or you were up at 2 or 3 in the morning.
I was up at 2 a.m. Chino said, give him some good stuff. And I drank it, and I said, man, this is good. 2 a.m, I'm looking at the ceiling. I couldn't go to sleep that night. I'm like, what kind of coffee is this?
Your dad was a coffee connoisseur, or he still is, probably.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
In Macon, he had 88 different brands, and he will make one at 1 o'clock. He will make another one at 2. He will make another one at 3. And it was all different blends, right? And I'm not really a coffee drinker, but I did drink some of you dad's coffee, and it was great. So we go play golf. We had an early day, and we go play Kissimmee Bay. And as we're playing, I tell hubby, I said, "Hey, coach, would you like to go to Cuban food after we play? I mean, the place is 10 minutes away from here." He goes, "I'd love to." So we go eat. We have a really nice meal. And then I asked you, Dad, I said, "Hub, you know, they say Cuban coffee is the greatest thing ever, right? I don't drink it." But he goes, "Oh, man, I love one." So I tell the person, "This guy is a coffee connoisseur. I want you to make him, you know, a really strong Cuban coffee so he doesn't ever forget what Cuban coffee is all about." Well, the next day I get to the ballpark and your daddy's mad at me. He goes, "What the hell was in that coffee?" I was looking at the walls at 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't sleep last night. I said, "Hubby, it's just a regular Cuban." No. You told him to put in some. I said, "Hubby, I just told him to make a regular, strong Cuban coffee. That's what Cuban coffee is."
It was good.
It
was good.
It was tremendous.
Yeah. And
But that
then,
restaurant was good, but, you know, we never spent too much time on that side of town, and it was kind of far away. So,
yeah, it was.
you know,
but
you know.
golf down there was, I would go back to the minor leagues in a minute. I would go back to those days where working on the field, they were just special days, you know? I mean, they just were.
Hubby, can I tell you the last time I played golf on the road?
Probably it's been a while, huh?
The day I played with you in Lexington.
Where did we play?
I forgot the name of the course, but it got to the point where I couldn't tell you no. So
Yeah.
I no longer, I get offers in every one of our cities. I mean, there's really nice golf courses in Colombia. There's nice golf courses in Arkansas.
Yeah, that's right.
And people are kind of, "Bring your clubs." I never take my clubs anywhere.
Well, it's a pain to travel.
Can't play
with,
without
right?
Poppy.
Well,
What's that?
you know, back in the day, Chino and I would be partners against Smoltzy.
Yeah.
We would play a tee box up. He'd be playing the tips. He never did beat us,
No, he never did.
but we were 3 up on him with 3 holes to go, and he tied us.
Yeah.
So that was a win.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the cactus. He was in the cactus in Arizona, and I'm like, "We got him. We got him." And he threw it within 6 inches of the cup, and then we missed a putt on the next hole, and then he tied the last hole.
Yeah. Those were the days. Those were the days, hubby. I mean, you know, just wow, the courses we played with him.
Oh,
I
man.
always talk about the Ace Club in Philadelphia, you know, and they talk about, you know, we played LA Country Club, and I mean, all the, you know, I mean, all those courses that we played with them. And here you go, Mr. Smoltz. He will give him the car keys, and away we went.
Yep.
And it was unbelievable, you know.
Well, how about Marion? We show up, and he says, "This is going to be the toughest course you're going to play this year." And I think you birdied the first hole, and I parred the first hole. And we looked at each other like, "Huh."
Yeah.
And the rest of the course just ate our lunch.
Ate us up. Yeah, ate our lunches, right?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah. Well, he was always very generous, and, you know, he's not a Hall of Famer by accident, you know.
No.
He's a great person, as he was a great pitcher, you know.
Yeah. Changed. You know, I was a good hitter in the minor leagues too, but I got to the big leagues and I started seeing that 90-mile-an-hour slider. It separates a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, he did that to me. He separated me big time. I kept a lot of shortstops in the game because I hit a lot of weak ground balls to short on those sliders.
Well.
So, Chino, Dad asked about your daughter, Lauren. So let me ask you this. How did becoming a father really shaped the way that you led, not only in the home, but possibly in baseball? And then this is actually a two-part question. How to become a father, becoming a father helped shape the way you led. And then something your daughter might tell people and say about you that baseball people would never know.
Well, the second part, I don't know. Well, but let me start off with this. So when you have a kid, everything changes, right? There's more responsibility, uh, and even though I was out of the loop because I was traveling. So
Yeah.
when she started school, in Port Charlotte, and that's the main reason I stayed in rookie ball. I spent 24 years in the minor leagues before I went to the big leagues, and I was ready never to go to the big leagues. But I
Right.
did not want her. I did not want her to start moving here and there. I wanted to, I wanted somewhere to be home. And Port Charlotte just happened that I was working there, and so basically I got to see her every day. In the winter time, I used to take her to school and then go to the golf course, come back home, and then go pick her up in school. As she got older and we moved back to California, uh, she started driving and all that stuff. That was some of the stuff that I missed out on because of the work.
Yeah.
Thank God for my wife. May God rest her soul. That she ended up becoming my daughter's best friend.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And when she passed away, Matthew, my whole mentality changed. You know, uh, I paid the house off. I basically lived for her. I mean, that I want to make sure that she's taken well care of.
Yes, sir.
She doesn't have any struggles, and you know, basically that's how
Yeah.
I
The
live.
father's
I live
love.
that way. Yeah. So that's how the mentality changes. And she takes care of the house when I travel. She pays all the bills. I don't even know the codes to the damn bank. She's the one that knows the codes and stuff. I really don't.
Well,
She tells me the amounts of the bills. I can take them off my checkbook, and that's it. But I don't. And
yes,
she
sir.
reminds me every so often. She'll say, "You'll be lost without me, Dad." I said, "Well, not totally, but yeah, semi lost. But I'm
Yes.
glad she's turned out good, and she's still with me. She hasn't married, and she does a lot for me, and I appreciate
It's
that day
beautiful.
to day. And but yeah, mentality changes when you have kids, because the responsibility part of it becomes a lot greater.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, and with that being said, you know, I mean, your dad does the same thing. All he wants is for you guys to be happy, to be successful, not to be missing out on anything. And that's how he's lived his life. And that's basically how I've lived my life too. My dad did the same thing, to
Yeah.
me and my brother, So it wasn't long ago that my mom was still buying me underwear and I was 55 years old. And I'm going, Mom, I don't need underwear. I'm fine. I'm old enough where I have a Target close by. I can go to Target and buy underwear when I'm
Yeah.
no, just put them away. You'll need them someday. This and that, and I'm going, well, I guess a mother will always be a mother. I mean,
Yeah.
that never
Yep.
changes, and a father will never. That never changes. So
No.
Don't worry, Chino. I still get underwear every year too. So my
well,
mother.
yeah, you got 30 years left. You
Yeah,
still got
I'm
30 years
never. I
left.
can guarantee every Christmas I'm getting underwear. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good for life.
Well,
So let's jump in. We're kind of getting to the end of our. I know we don't want to keep you for too much longer, but I think Louise has some interesting questions that he would like to
Oh
ask
man.
you right here at the end before we get into the closing portion of this show.
Yeah, just some quick first thing that come to mind, Chino. Nothing crazy. Let's see. We might know the answers. I think you might have talked about him, but a player you're proud of, not because he made it, but because he grew personally.
Well, all of the ones that made it and became really good people. I mean, I'm in Atlanta. We were fortunate that we got a lot of players to the big leagues, and they all turned out, to be really good people. Brian McCann, Kelly Johnson, Mark DeRosa. I mean, the list goes on of players that I dealt with in the minor leagues. That ended up playing in the big leagues, and their husbands, their fathers. And it's all those guys, and even the guys I had in Texas.
Yeah.
Every one of those kids that makes it to the big leagues is a joy, and it's something that the organization should be very proud. And it's not a one man show. It's a lot of hands.
That's right.
Touching that kid. There's a lot of hands.
Takes a
touching
village.
that kid to be. It takes a village.
Yep.
To get
Yes, sir.
those play. That's why it's so hard. It's not only hard to make it there, but to stay there.
We bring it up pretty often. 21,000 people have made it to the major leagues since its conception. So that's not a lot of people when you think about it that have made it to that level, that have been able to sit on, be on the field in a big league team.
Yeah.
What lesson you wish every 18-year-old prospect understood? I guess now they're 15, 16 years old, but one lesson you wish a prospect understood as a teenager?
Well, if I had my way, and this has changed really a lot the last 10 years. So now kids that get drafted based on how hard they throw it as a pitcher and how far they can hit it as a hitter. Okay.
Yep.
So that the team concept of the game will never go away, and you will always see that come to fruition in the playoffs. When a guy cannot get a bunt down, or when the guy misses a cutoff man, or when a guy cannot move a runner, this and that. So the team concept is what I wish the kids nowadays understood a little better, because it will make their careers better. Now, as I say that, this game is kind of messed up in the sense that you get paid according to your individual, merits.
That's right.
So whatever you do as an individual is what's going to get you paid in the big league setting. But I wish those values of the team concept will be a little more forefront
than individualistic.
Yeah, but it's hard to do now because of, number one, I don't think they're playing enough anymore. And, they don't care about the team. They pitchers want to strike out everybody, and hitters want to hit home runs for every pitcher. And it's not that easy. There's a lot of strategy in the game, as your dad will well know, to get you a win. And it's always in the forefront in the playoffs. In the playoffs, everybody starts talking about, well, he didn't get that guy over in the fourth inning and it cost him a run. Well, when is the last time he was asked to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's part of player development. We're trying to do a better job with it. Let them understand that and not hurt the developing. That
Right.
Early on, Matthew, you asked me about the developing part of it. Well, the development part of it is getting the reps. So you're a pitcher and going, you pitch 80 innings your first year, you pitch 110 your second year, you pitch 130 if you don't get hurt and if you're good enough. That's player development. So you're going to learn a lot as you go along, different levels. Same with the hitters, providing those opportunities for those at-bats, for those hitters, and different situations that the game will bring to you. How do you react to those and this and that? That's the things. That's player development that gets you ready for the big leagues. I said it. I just came back from Kansas City. We had a meeting for three days in Kansas City. My biggest fear when I was the coordinator for the Atlanta Braves was always sending a player to Bobby that if Bobby decided to bunt that player in the 7th inning, or Bobby decided to hit a run with that player had never done it enough in the minor leagues.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest fear.
Right.
Now, you prepare the player to be able to do all those things, and it's up to Bobby as a major league manager to decide how he's going to use that player. But at least I know in my heart that the player could do those things. You know, if he was asked, you know, if they asked Kelly Johnson to bunt, I'll never forget Brian McCann's, and you guys can look this up because I was happening to be watching. Brian McCann went to the big leagues from Mississippi in Double-A. His first major league at bat was a ground ball to second. It just so happened that there was a man on second base, and he moved that runner, and he took a low and away sinker, and he hooked it and got the runner over. When Brian McCann got to the dugout, it was like a standing ovation. Everybody gave him high fives.
Beautiful.
And I felt so proud because I know, you know, we had talked about that with Brian McCann many times. And
Yep.
he just did it automatically. And, you know, you know, as I'm saying this, I'm getting chills, you know, and because those are the things that make you proud of the work you're doing wherever you're doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And so.
Well, Chino, this has been awesome. Seriously, I really appreciate you taking the
Yeah.
time to get on the phone with us and share some of your stories and insights. And I truly believe that you're a legend behind the scenes, and you still have that passion for the kids. And that's the biggest thing.
That's what it's all about, Coach. So 2 things. Number 1, I couldn't tell you no. You're older than I am.
I am older than you.
Yeah. So you have always been my big brother, and that's I cannot tell you no. And number 2, I apologize if I hurt you guys' ratings, you know, but this has been a blast. I enjoyed it. God bless you guys, hubby. I am, you know, keep doing this. You're a phenomenal man, great husband, great father. Don't forget, Merry Christmas to you all. God bless you all. Have a great New Year's, and Coach will be in touch. Matthew, you better keep playing golf. It's not going to be ping pong when I see you.
Well, I play a little bit of golf here and there, and I will be ready for our rematch when we play ping pong. I can assure you of that.
No, we're not playing ping pong. We're going to play
Oh, we're
golf.
not. Oh,
No,
well,
we're gonna play
I
golf.
can honestly tell you that from the stories I've heard about you on the golf course, I will give it a fighting chance. But the stories I've heard about you, you just throw darts. And if there's money on the line, then you're even more dangerous. So
We won't have money on the line, first of all. And second of all, Jeremy cannot come and help you, okay? He's got to stay home. Your brother.
Oh, Jeremy's good. Jeremy's good. Me,
He's really
I play
good.
golf. I play golf maybe 4 times a year.
Well,
But I would love for you to come out here and we could play golf together. I would absolutely
yeah,
love that.
I'm believe me or not, I'm working on it. I love you, man. Say hi to
I
your
love you too,
brothers
man.
and your mom and everybody, and God bless you all. Luis,
All
nice
right,
to
Chino.
meet you.
Pleasure to meet
Coach,
you.
I love you,
Igualmente,
man.
Chino.
Igualmente. I love you guys.
See
All
you,
right,
Chino.
see ya.
Bye, guys.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.